Hi, we're back with part 2 of por and para. Let's turn to the basic rules for para. When we're talking about the purpose of doing something, especially doing it successfully, here we're forward looking, as opposed to por that talked about we did something because of. Now we're doing something for the purpose of a future event. For example, I am studying for the exam. Estudio para el examen. Next, it's used for purpose, and you're going to see para plus an infinitive verb form. Estoy aquí para trabajar. I'm here to work. We use para to identify an intended recipient. El regalo es para Ana. The gift is for Ana. Para is also used to identify a deadline, a specific event or time in the future. Necesito el reporte para el lunes. I need the report by Monday. Note, this is another one of those situations where using para is a matter of preference. It's also correct to leave it out. Necesito el reporte el lunes. Or you could also use antes de. Necesito el reporte antes del lunes. Para also identifies the intended use or purpose of something. Este molino es para el café, no para las especias. This grinder is for coffee, not for the spices. Para is used to express an opinion or point of view. Para mí es importante estudiar español. For me, it's important to study Spanish. Para is used when we're showing a lack of correspondence in a comparison. Ella es madura para su edad. She is mature for her age. It indicates direction or destination. Salieron para España ayer. This is another example where it's very common to use another word instead of para. Often you'll see somebody say, salieron a España ayer. Both are correct. We're going to do the same thing as the earlier slide. I'm going to give you a chance to practice your conjugation. All the answers are going to be para, but I want you to focus on the reason for the use of para. The library is here for the students. You're going to be using the verb estar here. La biblioteca está aquí para los estudiantes. And here it's the intended use. It could be for the intended recipient as well. The library is here for the students. You have to submit the exam by Monday. And you're going to want to use the verb tener. Tiene que entregar el examen para el lunes. And we're using para to identify a deadline. And remember, it's also correct to leave the word para out. Tiene que entregar el examen el lunes. Next, we are going on vacation to Guadalajara. And here you're going to want to use the verb ir. Vamos de vacaciones para Guadalajara. We're using the word para to indicate the destination. And again, it's also correct to use the word a instead of para. Martín came to the club to dance, not to talk. Now you have three verbs here: venir, bailar, and hablar. Go ahead and fill in the blanks. Martín vino al club para bailar, no para hablar. And we're using para to indicate for the purpose of doing something. Or you could look at it for the purpose of when you're using an infinitive. This cell phone is for emergencies only. And you're going to want to use the verb ser. Este celular es solo para emergencias. And again, it's the intended use of the cell phone is for emergencies. The food here is expensive for its quality. And again, you're going to use the verb ser. La comida aquí es cara para su calidad. And we're using para to show the lack of correspondence in a comparison. I like to buy books for my grandson. You're going to be using the verbs gustar and comprar. Me gusta comprar libros para mi nieto. And we're using para to identify the intended recipient. The president used this pen to sign pardons. You're going to fill in the blanks with the verbs usar and firmar. El presidente usó este bolígrafo para firmar indultos. And we're using para because we're talking about purpose and using an infinitive verb form right after the word. For us, news from Washington makes no sense. And notice I didn't have you conjugate a verb because you may not be familiar with the idiom tener sentido. Tener sentido means to make sense, and so no tienen sentido means it doesn't make sense. So para nosotros las noticias de Washington no tienen sentido, and we're using para because we're expressing an opinion. Now I'm going to send you this slideshow so that you can practice all of these sentences one more time, going through them slowly to identify the reasons we're using por and then the reasons you're using para. Thank you for listening.